Hi, my name is Brenna and I love reading books. Today we're going to talk about my favorite books that I read last year. I consumed 112 books, and that's reading and listening, and we're going to talk about my favorites from that list. We're going to go in the order that I read them and not the order that I liked them. Yes, correct. The first book I have on the list is Morgan Is My Name by Sophie Keetch. And the second book I have on the list is the second one in the series. This is a book, it's an Arthurian tale, so we're following Morgan Le Fay from when she's a little girl to when she's older and gets her magic or learns how to wield power with magic. We get her friendships that she makes along the way and her love interest, and I can't remember his name, hopefully I'll insert it here. I loved the yearning, I loved their story, I loved this story. It was a good time and I cannot wait until the third one comes out in the spring. Looking forward to that. The second book I have on the list, All the Murmuring Bones by Angela Slatter. This book I found from the Libby suggested on the Libby app and the librarian suggested books. Usually I get my book recommendations from like BookTube, TikTok, Reddit, Goodreads. I try to get a mixture, but this was a new area for me to get a suggested book. All the Murmuring Bones were following Marin. This is what happens when you read and you don't listen to the book. We're following her, and she has to break a curse. I don't remember everything in the story. It was a year ago when I read this. Here's what I do remember. Every book in this series, the Sourdough universe, has a creepy scene. I mean, there are creepy creatures in every book. It's a gothic book, I think is what it says. It's a gothic. The books aren't creepy, but there's always one scene in these books that are really creepy. Yeah, it'll get under your skin. Again, books aren't creepy, as a whole, but there's one scene in them. I loved all of these books, but since this was the first one I read out of the series, it goes in my favorites. Would recommend if you like kind of a darker. I think they're atmospheric. I would say they're probably slower paced, probably. I wouldn't say they're fast paced, but I loved them. All of them that I've read in the series, the Sourdough universe. The next one on the list is Beautyland by Marie Helen Bertino. We're following Adina, who is not from Earth, and she has to relay her earthly human experiences to her people up on the ship, and she keeps a secret to herself. I don't think she tells anybody that she's an alien, but we follow her from when she's a little baby to old. I mean, her observations on humanity are funny and so tender. I love this book. I listened to this book. The narrator was great. It was a good listen. Would recommend. The next book I read on the list is The Will of the Many. And guys, what can be said about this book that hasn't already been said? I'm not going to add to the story. You can find, it was popular last year, and for good reason. I read this book in 10 days, and usually I like to read my fantasies in audio version. I just feel like fantasy books always have great narrators, and they know, they get the pacing of the book and the tone, the energy of the book. This book, you are dropped in, you hit the ground running, and to the end, to the last page. This action-packed. I loved The Will of the Many. Didn't think it was for me. It is for me. I'm actually reading The Strength of the Few right now, the second in the series. The next one on the list is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I loved this book so much. Oh my God. So this might go down as my favorite romance of all time. I did listen to the book. Would recommend. 10 out of 10. The narration, the audio, so good. So good. The characters, the dialogue. Lucy was the most real. Rom-coms can get pretty cheesy, but guys, we can all be cheesy, right? But it felt like Lucy wasn't trying to be over millennial. You know what I mean? How some authors will really try to drive home that this person is a millennial or whatever generation they were born in. B.K. Borison didn't do that with these guys. The focus was on the relationship and not, I don't know. I guess it was really character driven. I loved this book. Would recommend. 10 out of 10. I loved them. I think there's a second one. I don't know if I'll read it, but I love this one. The next one, number 7 on the list is The Great Believers. I love this book so much. I can't really talk about it though because I'll start sobbing. It follows a family, a group of friends in the 80s during the AIDS epidemic. It was so good and so sad. I sobbed. I listened to this book. The narrator is so good. It's a long read. I think it's like 17 or 18 hours. I loved it. But it'll get you. This one gave me like a hangover. Like I couldn't read or listen to anything for a few days afterwards. It gutted me. It was beautiful. I can't talk about it anymore. Oh, and then we go to Foster by Claire Keegan. If you've read this book, this one is short. I think I read this on a Saturday afternoon, tender. But man, in such a short book, Claire really captures, I think it was a full summer. You're following a little girl. She has to live with another family. This one, trigger warning, if you have abandonment issues, this one was good. It's sad. It's tender. You really want the best for all of the families involved, especially the little girl. It was good. It was good. I want to read her next one, or I want to read all of her books, to be honest. I will this year. The next one on the list is The Raven Scholar. I actually don't remember a lot about this book. I kind of remember the magic system. I listened to this book, and I think this one's a long read too. I think this one was like 10 to 15, 18 hours. I don't know. But it kind of like The Will of the Many, they are not the same. But like you dropped it and boom, you're going. I really like the magic system in this. I like the kids are like snarky, and they are kids. I think they're in their early 20s, right? So they're young people. The magic system was fun. It got dark. God, I'm not really selling this book. I'm not going to sell it to you. This was actually a really popular one last year, so I don't have to sell you on it. There's so many YouTubers talking about it. It was all over the internet, but I had a good time with it. It was fun. The last one on the list is Weyward. This one surprised me. I really okay, so right after I read we're getting ahead of ourselves. Wayward. It follows 3 different timelines, 1600s, 16 or 1700s, 1940s, and then modern, I don't know, 2012 or something. And it's women from the same family, all with the same magic. And the first one is, the one from the 1600s is like writing down the story. And then the one from the 1940s is experiencing a lot of trauma. Same with the last one. You know what? They all experience a lot of trauma. I really liked the way this story was told though, which is different from The Lost Apothecary, which I read right after that and was not impressed with that one. That one was fine. But I think the main character from The Lost Apothecary was like kind of annoying. All of the women in Weyward, I liked the strength. It was good storytelling. The magic was great. The setting was good. I had a great time with that book. Or maybe I shouldn't say great time because it was kind of sad. It wasn't really lighthearted. There wasn't really anything lighthearted about that book. It was good though. I do have some runners up that I wanted to add to the list. I've got a few. The Road to Tender Hearts. If you like Little Miss Sunshine, I think that one was all over the internet too. If you like Little Miss Sunshine, you would like The Road to Tender Hearts. That was a good book. Oh, The Wedding People. I read that one last January. I really liked that book. It was kind of problematic though, which was why I didn't make the list. But it was good. And then, The Rachel Incident. That was such a touching story about 2 best friends. I highly recommend that book. And then, yeah, that's it. That's all we got. Okay. And those are my favorite books from 2025. If you made it this far, thanks so much for listening. This is my first YouTube video. Next on the list, I don't know. Do I want to do my January wrap up? Or do I want to do, I don't know, another like gathering of my favorites that I've read? Maybe my favorite vampire books, or maybe I'll rank my favorite vampire books. That could be fun. Yeah. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.